Hey everybody, welcome to Author Show Board Game Reviews. This week we're looking at the Gods War from Sandy Petersen. Now this is an area control game for 3 to 8 players when you get an expansion, or you just take the base box, which is for 3 to 4 players. Now this game is based on the worlds of Glorantha. It's a fantasy world from probably about 30 to 40 years ago now, but this is a rich theme, rich game, and some very rich gameplay. In the game of Glorantha, the Gods War, I'll just call it the Gods War, make life easy on everybody here. Each one of the players represents one of the empires or one of the gods from the ancient lands of Glorantha, and you're trying to conquer the world by getting the most victory points, the most influence to bring about the end game. Now the game is going to play over rounds, and every single round players can get multiple actions. Actions such as moving their armies to go against other players, actions such as attacking other players, which will be resolved with the roll of the dice, or actions such as adding extra buildings to the board, extra units, and everything like that that's going to give you the extra power and the extra victory points to help you win the game. Every single round of the game is going to be played over phases. The very first phase of the game is going to be the action phase. During the action phase, that's where all the players are going to be taking all their actions, and every single action requires power. All the players are going to track their power on their individual player board, which is also going to be the same player board that's going to give them a whole bunch of asymmetric extra powers, such as gifts, which players can accrue throughout the game and give them extra special powers and power to do the actions they want to do, and even victory points or extra special rules about their special races or special faction abilities and everything that they bring to the table. Along with all those things, players can use those abilities during the action phase to do that moving, to build those armies, to move across the board, and also strip power from the other players. I'll explain how that works in just a second. After the action phase is complete, when none of the players have any power left, we're going to move to the power phase, where all the actions the players took during the action phase are going to influence how much power they're going to generate. Remember, you need that power to take those actions during the action phase. After the power phase, we're going to go to the council phase. Now, the council phase is the place where the players can interact with each other, and as you evolve through the game, as more victory points are going to be gained, the status of the game is going to change, and this is where more player interaction and negotiation is going to be forced, because the Chaos Rift is going to open up and the board state itself is going to change, which is going to boost up some factions, such as Chaos, which really enjoys that Chaos Rift, and also can weaken the other players, because until that rift is closed, they're going to use units to the rift, so players have to work together to close that down, and once it's closed, their lives are going to get a heck of a lot easier. Also, as the victory points accrue during the council phase, players are going to work towards their great compromise, which is another very interesting way that the players can work interactively and debate and also finagle deals with the other players, which allow them to gain victory points if they're willing to sacrifice power, but in a high enough player count game, and also take victory points from the other players. The council phase is also the phase where the players can gain the vast majority of their victory points, and the way they're going to get victory points is by having buildings in play. Remember how I told you during the action phase, your actions there are going to affect how other players get victory points? Well, if you want to take victory points from other players, destroy their buildings. Without their buildings, they're not going to get those victory points. But you can't take all the victory points from all the players away, because as the players complete these hero quests and fill these hero quests in completely, they're going to start accruing permanent victory points, which allow them to cycle towards the end of the game. The game is going to play until one player has 35 or more victory points, and if it's during the council phase, you'll finish out that council phase. If it's during the action phase, that's going to end the game. After that, players are going to get the chance to spend runes that they managed to acquire, where they could possibly get extra victory points or special abilities out of them, or they can do other various different tactics to get the most victory points, and at the end of that, we're going to count up all the victory points. Whoever has most victory points is going to be the grand winner of the Gods War. The Gods War is an extremely asymmetric game. The final game with all the expansions comes with 8 different factions that you can play with. Plus there's expansions that add neutral factions that you can hire, call them mercenaries if you like. And there's also box sets which add different amounts of creatures that change different phases of the game. Some creatures manipulate the early stages of the game, some creatures manipulate the middle stages of the game, and some creatures manipulate the end stages of the game. So all those things work together to bring together a very fantastic playing environment. And again, not just to talk about these factions again, these factions are extremely different. You have Chaos, which likes to live up to its name by spreading chaos across the board, and without going into great details, if you understand how the game plays, you understand they really fit their theme very well. Then you have Storm, which is like the giant bull in the china shop. They're going out there and just basically hammering down other players. Or you could have Sky, which is the great negotiator, the great bargainer. They are fantastic at making other deals with other players, and making those deals that the other players will sit there and go, it's a great deal. I'm going to take you up on that offer. Or you can just have the Darkness faction, which is a surgical assassin. Like Darkness itself, they like to strike in the middle of the night, come out there and spread their darkness across the land in secretive, assassin-like ways to bring about the endgame and gain victory just for their faction. Now, if you want to learn how to play the God's War, check out my tutorial video where I'll show you exactly how to play the game. Or you can see my sample gameplay video where I'm going to play just a 3-player game. Now, I'd love to play a 4-player game, but these factions play extremely differently, and I'm sure I'm going to be doing a terrible job playing a 3-player game and trying to sound intelligent, because all these factions have their strengths, all these factions have their weaknesses, and me playing 4 factions intelligently, well, it's probably not going to happen too well, so I'm going to cheat and play a 3-player game only. Finally, if you just want to get my opinion of the game, you can check out my full review of the God's War. If you have any comments or questions, make sure you leave them down in the comments down below. I'll be sure to answer them as quickly as I can. You can also send me an email at offtheshelfboardgamereviews. That's otsbgr@gmail.com. I'll be sure to answer them as quickly as I can. If you enjoyed this video, series, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.